we'll begin with the digestive system of Periplaneta americana. The digestive system of cockroach is a complete digestive system. The complete digestive system means that there is a mouth and a anus, and the tube is called as the alimentary canal. Okay, so you have a anterior-most opening, that is the mouth, the long gut, alimentary canal, and the anus. And it gets divided into three parts now. The part closer to the mouth is called as the foregut. The middle part is called the midgut, and the lowermost region is called as the hindgut. So the gut got divided into three parts: the foregut, midgut, and the hindgut. Let us talk about the foregut first. The foregut shows the presence of a mouth which opens into the pharynx, that opens into a narrow tube, that is the esophagus, which opens in a muscular bag-like structure, and this muscular bag-like structure is called as the gizzard, and the gizzard marks the end of the foregut. Gizzard ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पे foregut जो होता है वो खत्म हो जाता है. तो mouth, pharynx, esophagus, crop, gizzard, ये part हो जाते हैं आपके foregut के. Then the midgut, it consists of the stomach and this 8 pairs of hepatic CK or the gastric CK. 4 pairs, I'm sorry, 4 pairs of hepatic CK or the gastric CK. ये मिलके होता है आपका midgut. And the hindgut consists of 3 parts. ये वाला part को कहते हैं ileum. Then we have got a colon, and the last part is called as the rectum. So that was a basic classification. So here we remember that the crop is the largest part of the alimentary canal. It's pear-shaped sac-like structure, and it is a reservoir of food. It helps with the storage of food for short term. The gizzard is a grinding and a crushing apparatus. It helps in the grinding of food because it shows the presence of the circular muscles and chitinous teeth, जिसके वजह से it will help in the grinding of food. Gizzard is also called proventriculus because the stomach is called ventriculus, and from the diagram we see that the gizzard comes before the stomach. So if the stomach is the ventriculus, the gizzard becomes the proventriculus. And gizzard marks the end of the foregut. The midgut consists of the stomach, which is a short, narrow tube lined by epithelia like the columnar and the glandular epithelium. और stomach का main काम है absorption and digestion of the food. Okay, अब हम यहाँ पे ध्यान देंगे कि जहाँ stomach और gizzard है उसके जंक्शन पे आपको एक ऐसे रोजीट गुच्छे के मैनर में you will see the presence of 4 pairs of tubes called hepatic CK, which are also called gastric CK. इनका काम secretions का है. ये enzymes वगैरह secrete करेंगे which will help in the process of digestion. Okay. One more thing, remember that the entire foregut up to the gizzard internally is lined by chitin. Okay. Then these hepatic CK can be between 6 to 8 pairs. The hindgut consists of the 3 parts, that is the ileum, colon and rectum. इसमें से colon का main काम होता है absorption of water. Rectum will help in the storage of feces, and the anus will help in the removal of the feces. तो ये hindgut के आपके 3 parts हो गए. यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे कि ये जो part है जिसको हमने कहा है ileum, ये वाला part. Okay, this ileum shows the presence of, you see this yellow colored tubules that I am now marking, these are called the Malpighian tubules. Right. Okay. They have got nothing to do with digestion. They are a part of the excretory system. They will help in the removal of excretory waste. So remember that there are about 100 to 150 yellow colored filamentous tubules, which are called as the Malpighian tubules, which will help in the removal of the excretory products. So that was the revision of your digestive system of cockroach. Moving further to the next system, that is the circulatory system or the blood vascular system of Periplaneta americana. The circulatory system is open type, और आपको पता है what is open type. Okay, यहाँ पे capillaries नहीं है. The blood will flow through the one artery and it will directly open into the body ka spaces, right? And the cells in the blood will come in direct contact. So such a circulatory system is called as an open circulatory system. Okay. Now, here, this is a cockroach. मैंने अंदर के सारे पार्ट्स को समझो रिमूव कर दिया. तो ये जो स्पेस है, इसको हम कहेंगे, it is the hemocoel. That space is called as the hemocoel. Okay. And hemocoel is filled with the circulatory fluid. Okay. And this circulatory fluid is called as the hemolymph of cockroach. The hemolymph is a colorless fluid. It does not show the presence of any red blood cells. It does not show the presence of hemoglobin or any other respiratory pigment because it has no role to play in the exchange of gases. ये एक ऐसा सर्कुलेटरी फ्लूइड है जिसका गैशियस एक्सचेंज में कोई रोल नहीं है, जिसकी वजह से यहाँ पे आपको ना हीमोग्लोबिन मिलेगा ना हीमोसाइनिन मिलेगा. तो कॉकरोच में जो सर्कुलेटरी फ्लूइड है उसका काम सेल्स तक न्यूट्रिएंट पहुंचाना और वेस्ट को रिमूव करने में हेल्प करने में. अगर वही आप ह्यूमन के सर्कुलेटरी फ्लूइड ब्लड से कंपेयर करोगे तो हमारे साथ रेड ब्लड सेल भी है जिसके अंदर हीमोग्लोबिन भी है जो हेल्प करेगा गैसियस एक्सचेंज में. और ये कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर मिसिंग है हीमोलिम्फ ऑफ कॉकरोच में. ओके. तो असर्शन रीजन में ध्यान में रखनी है कि ये कलरलेस क्यों है, बिकॉज ऑफ द एब्सेंस ऑफ द रेस्पिरेटरी पिगमेंट. वो क्यों एब्सेंट है? बिकॉज उसका कोई रोल नहीं है इन द एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस. अब ये जो हीमोसील है, with the help of these two diaphragms, okay, these are, ये मैंने स्ट्रेट लाइंस बनाई बट दे आर परफोरेटेड, बीच में ओपनिंग्स होती है. ये ऊपर वाले को बोलते हैं, ये जो ऊपर वाला है इसको बोलते हैं डॉर्सल डायफ्राम, इसको कहते हैं हम लोग वेंट्रल डायफ्राम. And because of this, the hemocoel got divided into three compartments that are called as the pericardial sinus. The middle one is called perivisceral sinus, and this one is called as the perineural sinus. Okay, pericardial sinus because it shows the presence of the heart. Perivisceral sinus because it shows the presence of the visceral organs like the अभी जैसे हम लोग ने जो एलिमेंट्री कैनाल किया था वो पूरा. And perineural sinus because it has the nerve cord, the nervous system का part. और ये जो छोटा सा साइनस है इसको हम कहते हैं हेड साइनस. ओके. तो ये हो गया डिस्क्रिप्शन हीमोलिम्फ और हीमोसील का साथ में. ओके. नाउ कमिंग टू द हार्ट. ओके. सो when we talk about the heart of the cockroach, don't imagine the heart of a human being. Instead of that, imagine the artery of a human being, which is pulsatile, can contract and relax, okay, which is a tubular structure. So similarly, it is a The heart of cockroach is a muscular, tubular, pulsatile organ. It's a muscular, tubular, pulsatile organ, and that is divided into number of compartments. So see, so it's 13 chambered heart. So you have one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So the heart is a 13 chambered heart. Okay. Out of these 13 chambers, the first three chambers are present in the thoracic region, that is the prothorax, mesothorax, and the metathorax. And the last 10 are present in the abdominal segments. That is the distribution of the heart segments. And it shows the presence of each heart chamber shows the presence of a pair of openings. These pairs of openings are called as the ostia. And another thing, every heart chamber is supported by these triangular muscles. Over here, these triangular muscles are called as the alary muscles, except the last. So you have got 12 pairs of alary muscles. Even with respect to ostia, there are no ostia on the last segment. तो आप एमसीक्यूज के हिसाब से ध्यान में रखिए कि जो एलरी मसल्स है वो भी 12 पेयर्स है. ओके. एंड ऑस्टिया भी कितने 12 है बिकॉज लास्ट पे ना ऑस्टिया है ना एलरी मसल्स है. ओके. दैट इज अबाउट द हार्ट ऑफ कॉकरोच. एक और चीज यहाँ पे याद रखेंगे हम लोग दैट लाइक ह्यूमन हार्ट इज मायोजेनिक हम कहते हैं, बट इन द केस ऑफ द हार्ट ऑफ द कॉकरोच it is a neurogenic heart where the impulses come from the neurons so that the heart will undergo contraction and relaxation. Okay. अब होता कैसे कि जैसे ही ये जैसे ये हार्ट के चेम्बर्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं, the hemolymph goes into the head sinus, into the perineural, into the perivisceral, into the pericardial sinus, through the ostia enters into the heart, and then it keeps on flowing like this. ओके. तो उसके थ्रू आपका न्यूट्रिएंट्स मूव होते रहते हैं और हीमोलिम्फ में जो वेस्ट है वो भी सेल्स के थ्रू हीमोलिम्फ में आते रहता है, सर्कुलेट होते रहता है और हमारा मालफिजियन ट्यूब्यूल्स जो उसको रिमूव करते हैं. ओके. तो ये बातें हुई अबाउट द सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम. देन the next system that we can discuss is the excretory system of cockroach. Now, the excretory system में हम ध्यान रखेंगे कॉकरोच एक लैंड इंसेक्ट है एंड वो यूरिकोटेलिक है. ओके. सो इट रिमूव्स द वेस्ट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ यूरिक एसिड. और इससे क्या फायदा होता है कॉकरोच को? It helps in the conservation of water. That is why it is uricotelic. And we already saw that it shows the presence of Malpighian tubules. So आपको मैं एक सिचुएशन इमेजिन करवाता हूँ कि ये एक मालफीजियन ट्यूब्यूल है, आजू बाजू में ये हीमोलिम्फ है, और ये जो मालफीजियन ट्यूब्यूल है it is internally it is lined by the cells. Okay. And it is lined by glandular and ciliated cells. So यहाँ पे कुछ हम ऐसे ciliated cells बनाएंगे और यहाँ पे हम कुछ ऐसे glandular cells बना देंगे. ओके. और ये आपका इलियम वाला पार्ट है, ये हीमोलिम्फ है. ओके. ये हीमोलिम्फ के अंदर नाइट्रोजनस वेस्ट है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अमोनिया. ये सेल्स ऑफ द मल्फिजियन ट्यूब्यूल ने इसको अंदर ले लिया इसको कन्वर्ट कर दिया किसके अंदर, यूरिक एसिड के अंदर, और फिर उसको बाहर क्या किया, थ्रो आउट कर दिया। ओके, सो दैट इज हाउ द मालफिशियन ट्यूब्यूल वर्क्स। इसके अलावा आपको याद रखना है दैट देयर आर फैट बॉडीज, नेफ्रोसाइट्स एंड यूरिकोज ग्लैंड which help in the process of excretion. So in addition, there is fat body, nephrocytes, uricose glands, which also help in the process of excretion. अब एमसीक्यू के लिए भी पॉइंट ध्यान में रखिए कि ये जो यूरिकोज ग्लैंड है, ये सिर्फ मेल्स में होते हैं, फीमेल्स में नहीं होते, नियर द मशरूम ग्लैंड। ओके, जिसको हम अभी देखने वाले हैं बाद में, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द reproductive system. And with respect to fat bodies and nephrocytes, you're supposed to just remember them, that fat bodies store the uric acid. Okay, so बच्चों आगे बढ़ते हैं and we'll talk about the nervous system of Periplaneta americana. Okay, how the nervous system of cockroach is ganglionated. And you remember what is ganglion? Ganglion. A collection of cytons is called as ganglion. In the case of insects, the collection of cytons in the CNS as well as the peripheral nerve system is called ganglion. Human being में collection of cytons in the CNS is called nuclei. Outside the CNS, it's called ganglion. तो हमारा जो CNS है वो नॉन गैंग्लियोनेटेड है और हमारा PNS जो है वो गैंग्लियोनेटेड। कॉकरोच में दोनों CNS as well as the PNS can be ganglionated. Ganglion is a collection of cytons. तो अब हम यहाँ पे इमेजिन करते हैं अभी यहाँ पे कि बच्चों लेट अस से दैट ये एलिमेंट्री कैनाल है, राइट। ये एक इमेजिनरी कॉकरोच बनाया मैंने। द एंटीरियर ओपनिंग ये वाला इज द माउथ, द पोस्टीरियर ओपनिंग इज द एनस। नाउ there is a collection, now this part, sorry, this part is the esophagus. Okay, kids, and there is a collection of cytons called ganglion above the esophagus, which is called the supraesophageal ganglion. Supra matlab above, esophageal above the esophagus, and there is a ganglion below the esophagus that is called as the subesophageal ganglion. And these two ganglia are connected by a connective that is called circumesophageal connective. So ये जो तीन parts है, supraesophageal ganglion, subesophageal ganglion, circumesophageal connective, together is called nerve ring. So this finger is a diamond above, diamond below, and a gold ring. So I'm wearing a diamond ring. Cockroach wears a nerve ring. Okay, so the nerve ring consists of the supraesophageal ganglia, subesophageal ganglion, and the circumesophageal connective. Now, there is double parallel ventral nerve cord. Okay, there's a double parallel ventral nerve cord जो भी मैंने just बनाया, which is ganglionated. So it shows the presence of the three pairs of ganglions in the thoracic region. First pair in the first pair in the ये जो मैंने कर्सर है, first pair in the prothorax, second pair in the mesothorax, third pair in the metathorax, followed by 6 pairs of ganglions in the abdominal segment, 4, 5, 6, जहां पे First in the first segment, second in the second segment, third in the third, fourth in the fourth, fifth in the fifth, and sixth in the seventh abdominal segment. तो ये हो गया nerve cord. So nerve cord is a double parallel ventral ganglionated structure with 9 pairs of ganglions. 3 are thoracic pairs and 6 pairs are abdominal pairs. इसके अलावा the nervous system shows the presence of certain sense organs like the pair of antennae, which are for tactile and olfactory, right? Followed by the compound eye, and it's a compound eye. Compound eye इसके लिए कहा हम लोग ने, ये देखिए, ये है ऐसा किडनी शेप कंपाउंड आई. सिंगल लेंस नहीं होता. The lens is divided into number of these hexagonal units, and each hexagonal unit is called as ommatidia. Each hexagonal unit is called as the ommatidia. There, ommatidia. Okay, and there are about 2000. Make this correction in your notes. There are 2000 per eye. So, okay, hexagonal units which are called as ommatidia. तो ये उसका कंपाउंड आइज के आइज की खासियत ये है कि दे शो द प्रेजेंस ऑफ हाई सेंसिटिविटी बट लो रेजोल्यूशन. मतलब थोड़ा भी लाइट है तो भी वो इमेज फॉर्म कर पाता है, लेकिन इमेज की क्लैरिटी नहीं है. तो हाई सेंसिटिव तो है, लेकिन उसका रेजोल्यूशन जो है वो बहुत ही कम होता है. और जो इमेज बनती है, it is in a mosaic pattern. The image that is formed in the mosaic pattern. Mosaic pattern मतलब एक continuous image नहीं बनेगी. There will be smaller units which will come together to form the larger unit. जैसे बचपन में हम लोग जब पजल्स वगैरह खेलते थे, तो यार एक मोनालिसा का पिक्चर हुआ करता था, जिसको छोटे छोटे पजल्स में हम लोग उसको फॉर्म करते थे और एक पिक्चर बनता था. तो एक कंटिन्यूस पिक्चर नहीं बनता था, बीच बीच में लाइंस आती थी, तो वैसा एक इमेज बनाते हैं. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज mosaic image. Then, as we already studied this, anal cerci, they help to detect the ground vibrations or the sound vibrations. Okay, all these parts. And one more thing we can add, Joe. If you look at the NCERT text, it also mentions that the maxillary pal as well as the labial pal, हमने बताया था आपको कि इनके पास होते हैं ब्रिसल्स, और ये भी रिसेप्टर्स का काम करते हैं. So that tells about the nervous system. The respiratory system consists of 10 pairs of spiracles. 2 pairs are in the thorax and 8 pairs are in the abdomen. These spiracles open into a tube which is called trachea. The trachea branches into thinner tubes which are called tracheoles, and these tracheoles will directly open into the cells, जैसे कि इसको बोला मैंने muscle cell. And the spiracles, their external opening is guarded by ring muscles, which are called as sphincters, okay, which will help the movement of air in and out. So directly the gas like oxygen will reach the cells, CO2 will be thrown out. तो एक सिंपल तरीके का कॉकरोच के पास जो होता है वो रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम होता है. अब आगे बात बढ़ाते हैं, एंड लेट अस टॉक अबाउट द रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम. तो कुछ बेसिक बातें बच्चों कि द रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम कॉकरोच इज डायोशियस, माने मेल एंड फीमेल इज सेपरेट ऑन सेपरेट organisms, right? And it has well developed reproductive organs. It is sexually dimorphic. You can distinguish between the male and the female cockroach, and उसके जो distinguishing features है वो हमने already cover किए हैं lecture के अंदर. Now let us talk about the male reproductive system. And the male reproductive system, it consists of A pair of testes, a pair of vasa differentia, singular vas difference, a single seminal vesicle. Okay, and in the center you have this gland which is called as the mushroom gland. Okay, यहाँ पे एक और ग्लैंड है जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं फैलिक ग्लैंड. ये इसकी डक्ट है जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं फैलिक डक्ट. ओके, देन द इजैकुलेटरी डक्ट, the male genital pore, and the phallomeres. These all are parts in one go about the male reproductive system, which consists of a pair of testes, a pair of vasa differentia, which opens into the seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles open into the ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct opens out by the male gonopore, which is surrounded by these phallomeres or the gonapophysis. Accessory glands, the helping glands, include your mushroom gland, which is made up of these long tubules and these short tubules. Okay, and here you have one more gland which is called the phallic gland with its duct, which is called as the phallic duct. Okay, so what is the position of the testes? If you remember, students, they are pair of testes lying on the lateral side between the fourth and the sixth abdominal segment. ओके, ये एक बात आपको ध्यान में रखनी है. ओके, देन द मशरूम ग्लैंड का भी पोजीशन है 6 to 7 abdominal segment. Okay, now the function of the testis will be to produce the sperms. Testis will produce the sperms. अब अगर हम इस मशरूम ग्लैंड को उठा दें तो पीछे आपको सेमाइनल वेसिकल्स मिलेंगे. मतलब ये जो टेस्टिस है, टेस्टिस है, ये ओपन हुआ ये डक्ट में, जो ओपन हुआ इस सेमाइनल वेसिकल में, जो ओपन हुआ इजैकुलेटरी डक्ट में. क्योंकि इसके ऊपर वो पूरा मशरूम वाला ग्लैंड आ जाता है, ये हमको दिख नहीं रहा. ओके, एंड ये सेमाइनल वेसिकल्स बिहाइंड द मशरूम ग्लैंड, एंड दिस सेमाइनल वेसिकल्स, it will temporarily store the sperms and it will help in the maturation of the sperms. Okay, अब यहाँ पे ध्यान में रखेंगे कि जो sperms होते हैं guys, they are bundled together. मतलब एक एक नहीं हो, ऐसे गुच्छा बन जाता है, बंडल हो जाता है. This bundle of sperms is called spermatophores and they get covered by 3 layers produced by the accessory sex glands. Okay, and we have got asymmetrical uh, external genitalia. Then the female reproductive system of cockroach consists of, as you can see in the picture, it consists of a pair of ovaries. Okay, and where are these ovaries located? So they have a pair of ovaries between the second and the sixth abdominal segments, फिर से laterally sideways. Okay, and each ovary is made up of these 8 ovarioles. Okay, each ovary is made up of 8 ovarioles, and each ovary will open into a duct which is called oviduct. Okay, now these two oviducts will unite to form the common oviduct. The common oviduct, which is also called as the vagina. Now that common oviduct, so oviduct is a single median structure, अकेला single median structure, इसको vagina भी बोलते हैं. It opens into this genital chamber guys, जिसको हम लोग ने एक्सटर्नल स्ट्रक्चर में किया. उसके दो पार्ट्स, genital pouch वगैरह, वो सब हम लोग ने already we have seen that. Okay, other than that what you can observe is that it shows the presence of, ये वाला स्ट्रक्चर की बात कर रहा हूँ, इसको कहते हैं स्पर्माथिका. ओके, एंड यू हैव वन, एंड दूसरा वाला जो होता है नॉन फंक्शनल है. सो योर राइट इज फंक्शनल and the left is non-functional. What do these and yeah, spermatheca open out by this opening, okay, which is called the spermatical pore. What is the function of the spermathecae? That during sexual intercourse, they will receive the spermatophores from a male cockroach and store in the spermathecae. So the spermathecae are present in the female cockroach and they help in the storage of the sperms. And they open out by these openings, which are called as the spermatical pores. Other than that, you have accessory glands called collateral glands. Okay, and the collateral glands help in the form of oothecae. The collateral glands help in the formation of the oothecae, which is a dark reddish to blackish colored capsule. Okay, तो समझो कि ये एक डार्क ब्लैकिश रेडिश कलर का एक कैप्सूल है, 8 mm लॉन्ग का है, एंड उसके अंदर ये रोज ऑफ फर्टिलाइज एग्स होंगे. तो ये जो ऊथ ही के बनाने का काम है, ये किसका है? इन कोलैटरल ग्लैंड्स का. ओके, सो remember that the fertilization takes place in this upper chamber. Oothecal covering is formed. One female cockroach will have 9 to 10 oothecae, and one ootheca will have 14 to 16 fertilized eggs. एक ऊथिका के अंदर ऐसे 14 to 16 फर्टिलाइज एग्स, ऐसे 9 से 10 ऊथिका. सो टोटल अगर हम लोग मैक्सिमम नंबर्स लेंगे 10 और 16, तो 160 बेबीज. बेबीज मतलब यहाँ पे वी मीन बाय बेबीज द nymph will be formed. Okay, so the young one of cockroach is called as the nymph, and the nymph changes into an adult, okay, by a process called molting, or the molting is also called ecdysis. Almost 13 times approximately ये molt होता है तब जाके adult. ऐसा type of development जहाँ पे nymphal stage involved है is called as porometabolous development. Such a development is called porometabolous development. Okay. One difference between the nymph and the adult, there are many differences. One is that the nymph has wing pads, whereas the adult has got wings. So जो लास्ट स्टेज होता है लिम्फल स्टेज का, उसके पास विंग पैड्स दिखाई देते हैं, और फाइनल स्टेज में कॉकरोच के पास जो होता है वो निम्फ दिखाई देता है. एंड दिस फीमेल कॉकरोचेस, वो इस ऊथीके को, they will always lay them in the crevices of the rocks or any place which has got a high humidity, moisture, खाने पीने का सोर्स है, ऐसे. ठीक है. नाउ कॉकरोच मोस्टली पेस्ट्स है, राइट. स्मेल एक्सक्रीटा होता है, वेक्टर्स है डिजीजेस के. तो देयर इज, मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर वाइल्ड आल्सो, एंड दे आर नो इकोनॉमिक इंपॉर्टेंस एज ऑफ येट. ओके,